Hello, everyone. Welcome on into the room. It's about 6:01 right now, so I'll go ahead and jump things off and get them started, just so we got enough time to cover all of our our topics today. Thanks so much for joining us for our festival virtual volunteer orientation with AOC. I'm Christy, the marketing director with AOC, and we are going to be doing a little bit of discussion this evening about all of the cool things about our festival film crew. So I will jump off and start by telling you guys a little bit about AOC's contributing roles with festival this year and for previous years, and how you can get involved in a few different ways with a couple different crew positions. So if you haven't heard already, Festival International is returning to downtown Lafayette after a good 2-year COVID leave. So they are coming back, and hopefully this year we will be bigger and better than ever. We are excited on our end, and we're ready to do our part to get you guys plugged in some of our volunteer opportunities there. Just to survey a little bit of who's here in the room, whether you're calling in through our Zoom meeting or if you're calling in through our other streams, or either through our YouTube stream going on or through our Facebook. If you're a new volunteer, go ahead, drop a 1 in the chat box just so we know who's in the room. Or if you're returning, you've volunteered with AOC in the past before, go ahead, drop a 2. We have a couple of volunteers who've signed up. We're glad to see some returning faces. It's been a while. But we're also glad because we've got a good group of new volunteers as well. I think we've got a solid group of 40 this year altogether. So that's a win for AOC. We are really excited about that. If you come across any questions, I see a couple 2s. Okay, returning volunteers, great. Great. If you do run into any questions throughout the presentation, if you can think of anything, we do have a couple production staff here as well as myself. Feel free to drop it in the chat box and we'll do our best to answer those before we get out of here. All right, so let's jump first into a little bit about who we are and what we do here in the community. AOC, if you haven't heard much about us, we are a local community media center here in Lafayette, Louisiana, located downtown, with a mission to build an informed and engaged community through three ways: media, technology, and education. We do a lot of things underneath that umbrella for our mission. And a lot of that, well, all of that really involves serving as a resource for our local community and helping to really help our community members exercise their Second Amendment right to, I'm sorry, First Amendment right to free speech. We partner with community organizations to record local government and education meetings. We air lots of local community member produced content. And then there's also a lot of different local arts and cultural content that we capture and we distribute as well. And AOC is doing our part here with Festival this year. So, what does that partnership look like? Well, AOC has been a long-term partner with Festival since the festival's inception. And what we do is we capture all of the live footage that happens at the main stage. So all of the performances that will be happening at Park International, we cover that footage. And I believe Festival has now, they've released a schedule on their website of all of the acts and which venues, which stages that they'll be performing. So if you even want to do a little bit of research on your end on which performances may interest you for a volunteer shift, then I encourage you to go on their website and sort of pick out, listen to a couple of the bands and sort of see what captures your interest. That way you can schedule for one of those during your volunteer shift. What are the requirements for volunteering with AOC? We encourage all of our community members to get involved with the production of community content. And so we don't want to create a ton of barriers to entry. So there is no membership required to be a volunteer with AOC. All that we ask is that you do attend a training session in advance for many reasons, but some really big ones being safety. We want you to really feel well educated whenever you are going to be handling equipment or you're going to be in that environment with a lot of things happening around you. We want you to make sure that you're exercising safety. And also, we just want you to feel confident as if you're serving as a crew producer. We want you to feel that you know what you're doing when we're not going to send you out there unequipped. So those are our only requirements for participating as a volunteer. I will speak personally and say that I think AOC provides one of the coolest and most unique opportunities in Lafayette to get involved. And I'm not just saying that because I have worked here for a while, but I do have a couple reasons to back that up. We'll talk about why you should volunteer with AOC. One of the first things here we've got on our list is that you get to experience Festival with a little bit of VIP access. You will get some of the best views of Festival from our crew positions, whether you're going to be working stage side or if you want to get that cool overall view from our house cams. I think we're going to have 2 house cams going on this year. Or if you want to get sort of an overall look from our director's booth and sort of capture everything that's happening from every angle, then we've got our director's booth that's set up right behind the main stage each year, right next to our AOC tent, where we keep lots of refreshments and waters and snacks for all the volunteers who, if you guys are hanging out to the weekend and just want to come say hi, you're welcome to chill and hang out at our tent. We'd love to have you there. We typically have a monitor out there where you can kind of sit and watch the show in the shade. I'm pretty sure we may be doing that again this year, but overall, you get a little bit of that insider experience when you volunteer with AOC. Another great perk that comes with volunteering is that we do provide free, high quality production training and experience from our knowledgeable staff, our production staff, who are going to be leading you through those trainings. We've got a couple of sessions that are coming up for next week. I'll throw the dates out there, but they're also we'll also reach out to you guys by email. Next Thursday, April the 7th, at 6 o'clock from 6 to 8. And we also have one coming up Tuesday, April 12th from 6 to 8 as well. But these opportunities are great for you to get into the studio. Perhaps if you are a new volunteer and you really want to get that training from professionals, or if you've done volunteering before and you want that opportunity to brush up or try a different position, we're going to be providing that to you guys so that you do feel overall ready to go whenever you step foot into your position during festival. All right, so lots of good stuff there. Also, we don't want you to go unrecognized for all the hard work that you're going to be putting in that weekend. So all volunteers will get name recognition in the closing credits of your show. So we will recognize you for that work that you're putting in for your performance act. Another thing, each year of in-person festivals that we've had, we like to give out our AOC swag bags, just with some AOC goodies there, as well as our commemorative AOC t-shirt. So another little perk there. And overall, you will get we'll be creating tons and tons of community content that's gonna live on for years and years to come. It was during the pandemic, I believe, that we actually had countless hours of festival footage from the past years back that we were able to provide. So whenever we couldn't have that in-person festival, we were able to lean on some of that footage and still share it with the community. So overall, volunteering with AOC is a very unique opportunity for you guys to get involved in. All right. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try and jump to my other slide. Here we go. Sorry, fix my battery there. That way we don't disconnect. All right, I think we're good. So here what you see, let's back up a little bit. Here what you see is a bit of an insider look on the back end of where we'll be located for this year. There's a couple different positions that you'll notice, starting with in that bottom right corner there, we've got a house camera that's set up sort of on a bit of a pedestal. And as I mentioned, I believe this year we will have 2 house cameras that'll be out in the crowd. There's also up on stage there, on the very left next to those stairs is a stage cam. That's the general location of stage. It'll either be on the left or the right side of the stage, but we will have a stage cam position there. There's another camera you'll notice on stage, which is our handheld camera position. That one is not on a tripod, as you'll kind of see it in that photo. And behind that position to the back of the stage, you've got a cable puller who will sort of serve behind that, sort of behind all the movement there. So these are a couple positions we've got on the left in those green text. We've got the AOC volunteer crew tent that's going to be behind the main stage, and inside or right beside that tent will be our director's booth. So anyone who serves as a director, that'll be where you can find us. We're typically set up right there at the corner of Garfield Street and Taylor Street. So this sort of gives you just an overall broad view of where we'll be located and where those positions will serve. But I'll jump into a little bit more detail about what each of those positions do. That way, when you leave this presentation, you'll kind of have a better idea of where you think your skill set will best serve as a volunteer with AOC. Starting with our house camera. This camera is typically a beginner level of difficulty when it comes to working our positions. It's located, as we mentioned, on a pedestal within the crowd facing the stage. This is a good opportunity for anyone who doesn't have camera experience, or if you're a first-time volunteer looking to get involved. House camera is usually that position that we tend to offer volunteers. Operating the house camera means that you'll have kind of that go-to shot for any act that's going to be playing the main stage. And there's a reason why we call this the best seat in the house, because you do get a great overall view of all the bands and the attendees. You may see friends or so kind of in the crowd, but this is sort of that safety shot that we use for the whole camera operation. If the stage and handheld cameras are doing great at their jobs, if you've got a really strong crew working with you, then your director may not transition to your shot so much because there's a lot of good shots to choose from. But maybe if you're working with a more beginner crew, then house camera will have that steady perspective of all the action. So it's definitely a great opportunity to jump on and try house cam. It's one of my favorite. I tend to jump on house cam each year that we've done it in the past. Let's see. Oh, one thing I do want to mention about house cam is that generally for these positions, you will be on that raised platform. So this position may not be recommended for those who are fearful of sort of sizable heights. You tend to sometimes get a little bit of, maybe if it's a windy day, you kind of may feel a little bit of it. Nothing to be concerned about, but if you are pretty afraid of sizable heights, then you may be better served for a different position. Did want to mention that. All right, so we'll move on next to our stage camera. Stage camera is another that I would consider a pretty beginner level of difficulty. It will be located at one of those sides at the corners of the main stage, kind of like what you see in this photo right here. And as a stage cam, you are given the freedom to look around a bit for some good shots that are happening up close, either focusing on a person or a thing that's either making the most prominent noise on stage or that's providing the most action. So you can sort of observe things around and design your aim to move from place to place and kind of follow the action or follow the music. So this is another position that's great for someone who may not have any camera experience or who is a first-time volunteer with AOC. Stage camera operators, sort of that main purpose is to capture action happening. So for example, if a guitarist is sort of shredding a lead, or if a drummer is going for like a big solo, this camera usually shifts their immediate focus to that musician or that whoever's giving us those moments. So this camera position allows you to get some pretty interesting angles going on that the guests who are even in the best rows can't really see. So that's a pretty unique opportunity there. Now, our stage camera ops must wear earplugs for protection because it will be pretty loud up there on the stage. So we do provide those for you so that you do have the ear protection, and we've got the headphones as well. But yes, you will have to wear earplugs for those positions. All right, let's keep moving. Next, we are talking handheld. Handheld, I would consider handheld to be sort of an intermediate level of difficulty. It's another camera that's going to be located on the main stage. And the cool thing about this camera is that you will be able to get some shots that aren't really possible from a camera that's sitting on a tripod. Handheld camera can change angles pretty quickly and get a little bit closer and into tighter spots than a full tripod rig could. So you get to offer some really interesting action that others won't see. Now, it is a bit more labor intensive than other positions, I would say, just because you will be carrying, as you see in the picture, the camera on your shoulder like that for most of your shift. So please consider your physical capacity to do so. We don't want, if you've got a bad perhaps shoulder or back, we really don't want you to have stress or strain on that, but just something to think about when you're choosing for those positions. But a really a rewarding position because you get so much flexibility. And if you've worked in production before and you really want a chance to like flex your creative eye and contribute like some of the best shots that we'll probably get, then I would challenge you to book a handheld shift and get a little jazzy with that. All right, and right next to handheld in this picture, you'll see our cable puller. Oops, sorry, jumped ahead. There we go. Cable puller is another beginner level of difficulty position. A cable puller assists the handheld camera operator with cables and will serve as an extra pair of eyes that are focused on safety. The cable puller provides the proper amount of cable for the handheld camera operator to really capture shots very smoothly while minimizing any trip hazards that are on stage. So this is a good position as well for anyone without camera experience or as a first-time volunteer. Of this position, while it seems pretty simple, it is a very crucial support role in any shoot that uses a handheld camera because you are, as a cable puller, you are assisting with safety. So you're responsible for ensuring that those cables are out of the way so that no one gets hurt. And a part of doing that is sort of knowing how much cable to give whenever handheld cam is sort of moving around and get in different positions. So that is another really, really important position as well. All right, and lastly here, we've got our director. If you recall from that diagram, the director's booth is typically right over there by our festival tent. And that position supervises the placement of shots and the overall pace and feel of the production. Oh, and I'll jump to that. Good point. A good point. I think John mentioned alternating cable with the handheld could provide a good shoulder break. Very good point. If you are managing, if you are going to be working a handheld position, that is a good point. Thanks for adding that. As far as director, yes, you are pretty much, you're going to be managing the overall pace and the feel of the production that's going on. The director is the only crew member with a full of all camera shots. So you'll be giving instructions to all of your camera ops to help them better frame their shots. And every move that you make will be projected on those stage monitors next to the main stage. So a director, you've got a bit of flexibility there to kind of work things stylistically, but this position would require a bit of knowledge and understanding and the studying perhaps of shot composition and shot framing. An ideal person for this position would be someone who has really good hand-eye coordination, strong communication skills, and really good leadership skills. I think especially because you will likely be working with a crew of majority new volunteers. So you want to ensure that you'll be giving them directions very clearly and constructively in a positive way that's receptive. I think that, if someone's not giving you things that you want, how would you correct them in order to get the shots that you do want? So that's something as well to think about as you consider what shifts you may fall into a good fit. All right, so if there are any questions at this time, we've kind of covered all the different shifts. I hope maybe a couple things stood out to you that you kind of got your wheels turning about what position you may want to serve with AOC this year. If you could think of any questions, feel free to drop them in one of those chat boxes and we can answer them for you. One question that I did get in advance was, can a volunteer sign up for more than one shift? You are absolutely encouraged to do so. If you can work more than one shift on a particular day, or perhaps you're even interested in learning multiple positions for a shift, some of those are kind of interchangeable with working a house cam or perhaps working a stage camera. We want to give you enough during our training so that you feel equipped to sort of transfer between two like that. So yes, you are encouraged to sign up for more than one position.
If I could chime
We
in
do
though.
request that you stick with some trained positions that you've been in. So if you're seeking to perhaps just jump on directing or something and you hadn't got trained for it, we encourage you not to sign up for a position like that. But if in any other case, if you are interested, in, yes, we highly encourage it. All right, so another point that I'll make is that this recording will be sent via a replay to all of our registered volunteers, and you guys who are in the Zoom chat will receive it as well. And this link will give you the opportunity to schedule for our training shifts. So you'll get to see what's available in terms of those positions. There are a couple that are starting to be filled, but you can still choose. Right now, there's some openings for our position, our training coming up on Thursday. So if you see something that you're interested in serving, go ahead and just sign up there. You'll also be prompted to include your t-shirt size. That way we can get that from you and ensure that we've got you a crew shirt so that you are part of the team. And that's actually what a lot of our volunteers in that photograph are sporting. That was our festival crew shirts. We had 2 different designs that year. I think that was 2019, right before the pandemic. So we do have some new crew shirts coming in. So by all means, go ahead and give us that information and we'll be able to get you locked in with a training shift for next week. All right, so if there are no other questions, I'm going to go ahead and drop in our chat box some info where you can reach me. If you do think of anything else, you can always reach out to me at AOCinc.org. You can also reach us at info. It's a little bit easier to remember. info@aocinc.org. If you think of anything, we really just want to make sure that everyone does feel equipped coming out of it. It's been a 2-year break for us as well, but we are really excited and getting on the ball to be a part of the return of Festival Downtown. All right. So with that, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up our presentation. I want to thank everyone who called in personally. Let's see, glad to hear that you guys are ready, that you're ready, Nancy. I know you volunteered with us many times in the past, so we are so excited to have you back. It just feels great when we see registrations from members who have been so active with us, and now you guys are jumping right back into that. So we really appreciate all the support we've been getting for really building up an enthusiastic crew this year. So we are on the ball for it. All right. Well, I'm also going to just throw out and thank Matt and Will, who are handling all of our technicalities for the evening. They've got our Facebook, YouTube streams, everything going on. So thank you guys for calling in, taking some time to help me organize that. I think, let's see, Paula's in the room, raised her hand. Did you have a question, Paula? Oh, never volunteered with AOC during festival. Okay,
Yeah,
cool. Well, this will be exciting to have you here.
Thank you.
Nice. I think I did see when you did register, it was some experience you may have had in video production before. So if so, that would really be helpful. We are, those are anyone who's bringing that experience to us. You guys are golden. So we thank you so much for that. Oh wait, my volume may be down a little bit. All right.
So can you hear me?
The volume may be going out a bit, but I think we're going to go ahead and end the room. Again, if you need anything, by all means, reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to answer your questions and give you some more info on that. Until next time, we will see you guys next week.
Hey, Paula, if you're still on, I can hear you and I might be able to answer your question.
It wasn't a big question. I was gonna ask if we're gonna have to wear masks on stage, and I just wanted to say that
Wait, I'm
I have
sorry.
a
I think I can. I don't
AOC.
think we can hear you there, Paula.
Okay, thank you.
I can hear you, Paula.
It's no big deal.
I think at the last we heard that festivals rules, because they're dealing with a lot of international people, is that masks will be required backstage and probably on the stage area.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Paula. Anybody else, any other questions I can try and field? All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in, as Christy said, and appreciate it.
Bye, guys. Have a good one.